Check, check, check. What's happening, Boot Junkies? Mike Delgadio here, back with another video on home studio setup for voiceover. And today we're going to talk about a preamp. A little bit different preamp than you might have seen before. I'm going to plug in my headphones. The preamp that we're going to talk about today is the Sound Devices MM-1 portable preamp. Now, this is a professional level preamp that runs on either AC power or AA batteries, which I think is really amazing. But really, the place that this preamp is going to be used in most situations is portably, out in the field, on location, on a set. A boom pole operator, microphone, the guy holding the microphone out in a long pole, he's going to have a bag on his belt, and one of these devices, good chance it's going to be in there, going to a mixer, recorder, something like that. But it could be perfectly well used in a home studio situation. So if you are a person who might be recording at home and out on the set, you could use this Sound Devices out on the set and then come back and then do your VO tracks, your ADR tracks, anything like that, using a device such as this. This is for a single microphone. Now, let's just go through some of the features that it has just so you can get an idea of how it sounds. And you're listening to the MM-1 on my Shure SM7B. The first thing is the gain, and this is what really attracted me to this unit. This device has, on battery power, can provide 66 dB of gain, way more than even my Audient ID22, sort of prosumer level preamp, more than my Zoom H5, the DBS 286 microphone preamp processor unit that you might have seen in one of my other videos. This preamp, 66 dB of gain, and it's clean. I'm going to turn it all the way up. I mean, that's all the way up, and that's a ton of gain, way more than you're going to get on a lot of other microphones. Interestingly, the preamp, it's in clicks, so it clicks from 58 to 60 to 62. There's like 11, I think it says 11 increments of gain. It's not a smooth gain knob, which I find interesting, but it does have a ton of gain, which is awesome. Below the gain knob are two switches. On the right is the one that says limiter, and this is really because you might be on set, on location, where if you clip, you ruin a take, and if you ruin a take, it might cost a real lot of money in order to set that shot back up. And so it does have a limiter, and it says that the limiter will provide like up to 50 dB of gain reduction. So it practically is impossible to clip is what it says. But I'll show you the limiter. So I'm going to click my fingers, and you can see there's an amber light that lights up that shows you that the limiter is engaged. But that is to try and protect the audio, preserve the audio for a good take at all costs. Next to that is the bass roll-off switch. So it's got two frequency roll-offs. You can either roll off from 80 hertz down or 160 hertz down. And that's really so if you've got atmospheric noise, wind noise, rumble from traffic, you can take that out, which is especially helpful for saving the audio while you're on set. Two big knobs on the front. One is for monitor gain and one is for headphones. So I can adjust the sound, how loud the headphones are in my ear, and I can also monitor. So if I'm monitoring another source, another mixer, a take or something like that, I can actually mix that monitor sound in my headphones. So I can put in the back, I can put in an external sound source, and I can monitor those. And there's even like a dip switch inside where I can put the headphones in one ear and the monitor in the other, so I could sort of mix them in my head and not have have them compete with each other. That's a pretty cool feature if you're going to be doing listening back or listening to another microphone or mixing board, anything like that. On the other side, there is a switch that indicates what type of power source you're using. Now, this is not microphone power. This is to power the preamp itself. It says int and ext. You can run this off two AA batteries. So I just have a couple of AA rechargeable batteries in there. So I can run this, I don't know, several hours on battery power, and it will even provide phantom power to the microphone on batteries. Really amazing. External is the switch. If you switch it over that side, you'll be running off DC power from a power pack that you plug into the backing, run off wall power. There's also a detent in between that's just the off position. As you can see, it's in a ruggedized case. This is a heavy duty. This is a case that's made to be bashed around. It's meant to be taken out in the field. It's meant to be used. I'm going to say it's weatherized. I don't know what its water or wind or resistance is. It's certainly not waterproof, but I think it's sort of it's sealed in the same way that a camera would be to protect it somewhat from the elements. Don't put it underwater, okay? Still try and avoid getting it wet. But otherwise, it is a very rugged case. I'll spin it around so we can look at the back. On the back, sorry, that really shortens my headphone cable. On the back, you can see that there are a couple of interesting items. The first one is this aluminum capsule thing, and that's the battery cover. So when you screw this, I can't do it now because we're plugged in, but that just unscrews and you slide 2 AA batteries in there. Rechargeables are good. That way you could just have virtually unlimited power. You just keep plugging new batteries in there. Below that is the jack where you could put the DC power, the wall power if you wanted to. There's the switch for the monitoring, so you can plug in an external source just with a balanced cable, 1/4 inch cable, just plug that in there. And then below that are the power switches to power condenser mics. There's 48 volt, and then a lot of mics that require phantom power can get away with a lower voltage, 12 volts, so you can put it down on the 12 volt switch, and that will preserve batteries. You'll be able to get a longer life out of the preamp per battery charge or per set of batteries if you go with the lower voltage, so it does have that also. You can also switch between dynamic and something else called TPower. TPower, it's my understanding, was the precursor to phantom power, and I don't know a lot about it. So I'm going to say, if you know about TPower, this amp will provide TPower, but really I don't know much else about it. Never used it, never had to. And then there are 2 XLR jacks. One is the input from the microphone, and the other one is the output to the mixing board. So this is not an interface. There's no USB. This needs to connect to a mixer or an interface, bypassing that interface's preamps. And that's how I have it set up here. So I have this connected as bypassing my interface's preamp. So I use an Audient ID22 under normal circumstances. And this is bypassing that preamp by using the send and return jack. So that's definitely something to consider if you're going to consider an external preamp, is to make sure that you can connect it to your interface. And you can either do that by looking in your manual on how to bypass the preamps. You may be able to use a send and return. You may be able to use something like a direct input to bypass the microphone preamplifier. You could get away with running it through the preamplifier, but you'd still be preamplifying and you'd be still hearing anything that's wrong with your preamp. And you want to try and avoid that if you can. But if you can't, you could plug it in. This device is a professional level device. This was loaned to me by someone who works on a movie set, and just wanted to know if I'd be interested in it. And of course I am. I'm a geek for this stuff, so I love this stuff. But this is definitely a professional level preamp. And you'd see a boom operator with a bag, and this also has a belt clip, so you could run it. But if you are an amateur filmmaker that maybe is limited on the equipment that you can buy budget-wise, this is certainly something that you can use in a home studio. So if you needed to do ADR or anything like that, still a completely valid and really awesome preamp that you could use for voiceover, you could use for any of the dialogue in your movie, and still take this out and use it on set. So very versatile device. Otherwise, I'm not a location sound guy. I'm not a boom operator or anything like that. This was loaned to me by a professional in that field. So I'm very grateful for being loaned that piece of equipment. It's super cool. It's super cool to listen to. I tell you what, man, it's a good preamp. It's really good. Anyway, so that's all I have for you today. I hope that helps. Now, go out in the field, get your boom pole, get your portable preamp, and go record something amazing. Thanks.